Okay, we are live. All right. So today we're going to be looking at a deal in Lee's Summit, Missouri, which is just southeast of Kansas City. And for those of folks that will be tuning into our podcast next week, Lee's Summit is just one of those neighborhoods that Tyler, who is a contractor in this market, recommended to us as sort of the areas that are above average in terms of neighborhoods. So today, I decided to Google the Lee's Summit Housing Authority, and I was able to find that their 2023 payment standards or the fair market rents are the following. So I'll probably focus on a few items here just so you guys can kind of all see. Let me see if I can pull up my spreadsheet. Boom. And then we'll just kind of write all these ones down so it's all within the spreadsheet. So let's do FMR payment standard. Let's do all utilities paid, no utilities. Call that the rent payment standard. And this is for one bedroom, two bedroom, three bedrooms, four bedrooms, five bedrooms. And here's why I want to kind of go about this because then I can just pull up next time whenever I have another property in Lease Summit. I can just kind of quickly look at all of the properties and the fair market rents by bedroom count. So you can see right here is 1202. Let me just change all these to dollars. 1202, no utilities 988, 1397, 1149. A three bedroom is going to be 1836, 1553 for no utilities, 2132 for four bedrooms, 1815 for no utilities, 2453 for utilities, and then 2103 for no utilities. So these are your rents for Lee Summit 2023 standards. All right. So these are going to be important values for you to think about because these are going to be your rent ceilings for every single market. And that's going to be really important as you kind of figure out what purchase price do you even want to begin your research at. Now, for me, because I know that the five bedroom properties are around like 2,100 bucks for rent with no utilities, I decided to start filtering in Lee Summit and just looking for the 1% rule, right? Trying to look for properties that are under 300 grand, close to 200 grand. And I just found that there's one property for 289. So we figured, hey, why not just analyze this deal and start backing into what would make it a deal? All right. So here we have 411 Northeast Sharon Drive in Lee Summit, Missouri, 64086, right on market. And we're just going to practice with this property. You can see that this property has some carpet we replaced. Kitchen looks great. We don't need to do anything. No flooring updates needed there. Is this considered a bedroom? Yeah, it looks like it. There's a bedroom in the ceiling. Now there's a basement here, but that's not likely. It's unlikely you're going to be able to turn that into a. Let's see. I think it's unlikely that you're going to be able to turn that into a bedroom. So there's another bedroom right here in the attic. That's how you get the four bedrooms. The only way you can turn a basement into an additional bedroom is if for some reason you can guarantee that there's two points of egress. I think we saw that there was one small window up there at the bottom. Let's try to take a quick look at the basement. You see how there's a fireplace right here, but these windows, they cannot count as an egress because they're so far off the floor. And if you understand building codes and Section 8 and how they classify egresses, you gotta have at least 2 points of egress. I'm not sure if this door on the bottom right is actually going to let you access the basement, but we can always ask and see what they count as a second point of egress. Because what you want to do is you want to be able to turn this property into a five bedroom to maximize the rents for the property. Because I already know that at 289, a four bedroom, that's definitely not going to cash flow. But let's kind of do it out, right? So next thing we want to do is do a quick street view of the property. I'm not seeing anything terrible out of here. Pretty much standard neighborhood. Okay, let me go to tophad.com, tophap.com, plug in the address. I'm gonna go to the neighborhood section, get the crime score, and this area is a 72 on the crime score out of 100. I live in an area that's like 88, so this is a good area, low crime, or probably lower than average crime. All right, so that makes me feel good about the neighborhood. The next thing I want to do is get the market rent. Now, for this property, assuming it's a five bed, it goes to 1942, which is right in line with the rent ceiling at 2,103. Right, 1942 and 2,100. Chances are, you can remodel it, you're probably going to be able to get that full rent. So I'm going to write down 1942. So I have my research in place. But just remember, you had to go 14 miles almost for 25 units in order to get there. What if this was a four bedroom? What's my market rent there? 1536. So you can see that it's a big drop off from four bedrooms, and I mean from five to four bedrooms, because it goes 1536. And even though your fair market rent on the housing authority's website listed 815, you might not be able to get above 1600 because they're going to say, hey, within less than a mile radius for 25 units, your average rent is about 1536. So I personally would go for the five bedroom property to maximize the rent there. 1565, 1801. We also have a lot more comps. 1640. All right. See below, or Lee Summit Housing Authority payment standards. Just writing that down so my partners know how I'm researching it. All right, let's go ahead and get the numbers for the property. The property is listed for 289,000, 289,000. The renovation and furnishing. I'm gonna assume I need to paint the whole place, but I don't think I really need to do much for. Maybe I'll just replace the carpet in the living room. Yeah, all the floor looks fine. In the living room, let me see what the plans are. Living room is 18 by 11. So I'm going to assume it's 118 times 11. 18 times 11. So I'm going to replace the flooring for about 200 square feet on the property. All right. Okay. So I'm going to go to my rehab list. I'm going to leave aside 1,500 bucks for the roof just in case there's some issues there. 500 bucks for landscaping. I'm going to set aside the square footage for painting, which is 2,474, 200 square feet for at $8 a square foot to replace the flooring in that living room area. I'm gonna assume that I don't need to replace any full bathroom remodels, but I might just replace some of the vanities in one of the bathrooms based on what I saw so far. Replace toilets in both of the bathrooms with a high pressure flush toilet. And that's pretty much it. That gives me about 15,566. 15,566. All right, my monthly income rent for this property is going to be equals to my payment standard, assuming I turn this into a five bedroom property. This is good. Actually, let me underwrite using four bedrooms first. 1815. I'm gonna use the max rent here, even though my market rent is 1536. So actually, let me just lower this a little bit. Let's go to 1700, best case scenario, because I just have a hard time seeing how you're going to be able to charge anything above 1536 when most of your market rents are within that area. My goal, let's just start there actually. My goal is to just turn this into a five bedroom property, which is 2103 for rent. So in order for me to get a fifth bedroom, I want to add additional, like, let's just call it 20 grand to convert one of the rooms either to basement, get the permits, and turn this into an additional bedroom. Maybe I had to put in another egress. I think I'm overestimating a little bit here for adding an extra bedroom for 20 grand, but let's be a little conservative. Now, using the property tax amount, let's kind of look at property taxes. Property taxes for this property is 178 a month, 178. My insurance here is 212, so I'm going to do equals 212 times 1.2, because usually there is a higher insurance premium for properties that are rented out as investments versus the primary residence property. 10% for my maintenance and my war chest every single month because something always breaks. I have 10% for property management and 3% for vacancy. I'm assuming it's a lower vacancy versus the 5% because I assume this is in a lower crime neighborhood, which we proved out with the crime score. And I am also assuming that I am in a slightly better school district. So 4, 5, 10. All right, that's not bad at all. It's decent schools. All right, I'm gonna put in 25% down payment and I'm gonna put an 8% interest rate for my loan right now. However, that will result, assuming my rent is 2103, my cash flow a month is negative 403, negative 403. My cash and cash return is negative 4.2. And then I was assuming a purchase price of $289,000, assuming my rehab was 35,500. Let's put 35,000 to keep it even, to turn it into a 5 bedroom property. Okay. All right. Well, if I do continue and assume my strategy is turn it into a 5 bedroom property, what would I have to buy this property for to achieve, let's say, a 10% cash and cash return? So let's start lowering the purchase price. So in order to get close to a 10% cash and cash return, which is 9.9 in the scenario, 9.9, which cash will be $554 at 2103 in rents. Rents did not change, so just put that back down there. And my purchase price would have be equals to $115,000. Something for you to keep in mind. My rehab is still the same, and I assume that my down payment and my interest is still 25% down at 8% interest rate. All right. Well, what if I think that my estimate to add additional bedroom is overestimated and it is only $10,000? So now my rehab is about 25 grand. How much am I willing to pay for the property now, assuming everything else stay constant? I'm still at 25% down and 8% interest rate, and my rent is still 2103. Okay. I am now able to pay 125. Let's see. Yeah, I'm now able to pay an extra $10,000 versus the prior scenario because my rehab is a lot lower. Because my cash flow right now is going to be 499, which results in a 9.99. So that's 10% cash and cash return. Okay. See how that works? All we're doing is going through the scenarios and figuring out what set of terms will still make it a deal, assuming everything else stay constant. Now, another way to go about this research is figuring out whether or not there is an underlying loan in place that allows us to take it over as a subject to transaction. So, one way I will go about that process is I can simply go to PropStream. Second. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up this property to see if there is an underlying loan in place that we can take it over subject to. And usually people only go after sub two deals if they've been on the market for a while, which is the case for here. This property has been on the market for 124 days and they have not sold. So let's see what we can do here. Let's see if there's underlying loan. When you look at the address, you click on the details and you can see when there's an underlying loan in place, and it does not look like there's an underlying loan in place. Chances are this person bought it in cash and it's owned free and clear. Great. That makes our life a little bit easier because now we can just play around with the scenarios, assuming that the property owner owns it free and clear. So we can say, hey, I'll give you the price that you're listed for at $289,000 if you can give me the terms I'm looking for. So let's see what my interest rate can be. So if I do 289, so I'm going to do equals 289 minus the down payment. So what if I turn this into a 15% down payment? Let's do 10%. 5%. There you go. So I can offer this owner, assuming my rehab is still $35,000. Let's do that. Whoops. I'm gonna add in $20,000. So my rehab is still 35. I'm now giving a 5% down payment. And if I offer principal only payments, which means that I am not offering any interest rate on the seller finance piece, and I'm offering a 5%, which is probably the lowest the person will go for, I'm able to cash flow $424 a month. and that's roughly 8.9% cash and cash return, but I'm still able to offer this person $289,000 for a house, which might be the deal that I'd be willing to go for because this house has been sitting on the market for about 120 days. It's probably the offer I would give because this is as close as I'm going to get to 8.9%. Well, what if, again, my rehab estimate was overestimated to turn it to convert into a fifth bedroom, and my price is still the same, but my cash investment is lower now, right? Because I don't have to spend as much for rehab. Can I offer a higher down payment? Yeah, I can probably give a 7.5% down payment because that's still going to result in $444 of cash flow at 9.8% cash and cash return. And that's assuming it's still 7.5% down with 0% interest rate. Right. So we're messing with the terms, right? Another way to go about it is, well, what if I am still able to give 5%, but I give them 1% interest? No, it doesn't work. That's 0.5. Yeah. So that's the only way it works. You had to give a low down payment for this property to make it work, and it has to be 0% interest rate for it to make it work. Might the seller go for it? I don't know. We can always call and ask. We'll find out. So hopefully this was helpful for everybody on thinking about how do you actually come up with a set of terms that will make a deal on the market work. The reason I even looked at this neighborhood is because the contractor referred me to what I asked was, hey, are there any above average neighborhoods with below average crimes and slightly average or above average schools? Because I'm thinking about the person that I want to house, the residents. They are families, well-behaved kids who just want to be in a nice home and they can attend school on their own terms in a good school district. Well, if that's the case, what might they be looking for? And that's it. That's how I came about it. And it also helps that when you have contractors in place that can deliver and execute on the project that you're looking to do, well, that makes life a lot easier. Now, this was just us determining our buy boxes by neighborhood for this market specifically. Could you go after a cash deal? Absolutely. But now you always understand, hey, what's it going to take for me to cash flow? Especially at 8% interest rate. That's not a low interest rate at all. So for you to cash flow, your chances are you're probably going to have to either lowball the offer or buy a deeply discounted property that allows you to force enough value into the property to BRRRR it. BRRRR stands for buy, rent, rehab, refinance, and repeat. And that allows you to take back out of your capital. Well, after you take back out of capital, you might not be cash flowing, but that might be okay with you because you have nothing invested in property anymore. So it all comes down to what your risk appetite is and what you believe in the market. Some folks invest in some markets thinking that, well, hey, I just care about breaking even because I believe in the market of Kansas City. I believe they're going to continue going up. And I just want to ride the appreciation when that comes. It's your own personal strategy. I'm not giving any investment advice. It's not a solicitation for any investments at all. I'm simply showing you all the work that's required for you to buy properties. All it takes is just 18 minutes a day, and you would have spent about 100 hours on underwriting deals a year. And when you spend 100 hours underwriting deals, analyzing deals every single year, you're going to be better than 95% of America. You can absolutely do this. And sometimes folks ask me, how do I get started? Well, we've had some members from our community. They have just come on and analyzed deals with me. Or another option for you is just copy what I'm doing. Copy my homework. Analyze the same deal I analyzed today using the same spreadsheet and just DM me your email on Instagram at InvestWithKenHe if you want to copy the spreadsheet. I've been very fortunate. I've been given the spreadsheet by other folks, and they have helped me a ton. And I just modify it to adjust it for how I underwrite deals. You can absolutely do this. It just takes practice. It just takes discipline. In order for you to buy 100 properties, you got to analyze probably 1,000 properties. So let's get to work. Let's do it together. I know how incredibly lonely and scary it was when I got started. But part of that fear stems from not knowing. But now you have learned how to spot a deal if it came across your table and slapped you across the face. So you can create your own YouTube channel, put it on your own YouTube channel, and just take whatever I said today and just pick one sentence and just say it better than I did. And that's all it takes. And then you would have your own YouTube channel with your own track record that you can look back on and tell yourself, hey, I know what I'm doing. I really understand this. Because that's the only way for you to have confidence. And that's the only way you're going to be comfortable pulling the trigger on your next deal. You have to have practice. And if a partner ever asks you, why do you think this is a deal? Well, you can point them to your own YouTube channel. And at that point in time, they're going to be like, wow, this person's a real deal. He or she has analyzed the deal every single day for the past 365 days. I would much rather partner with somebody that has demonstrated that they've been consistent, that they put in the work and they know what they're doing and actually put in the reps. This is the non-exciting part about real estate, but I'm so glad you are all tuning in and you are giving this serious attention and you're taking this seriously because that's who I would want to partner with. So thank you so much, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. Spend some quality time with your loved ones, your significant others, your family, your friends today. Because this is what life is about. Why are we doing all this? So that we can spend more time with other folks. So have an amazing day, everybody. Please enjoy. And I will be back here again tomorrow for day